Okay, so we do have 5.
Mm-hmm.
So we have enough for a quorum.
Correct.
All right, so do you want to start the recording? We'll start the meeting.
Hold on, let me. George Cornelius is coming in, and the dean is coming in. So let me start it now.
Good morning.
Recording in progress.
Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the March 20th, 2026 School Council meeting for the Miami Herbert Business School. I'm glad you're all here. I appreciate the council member and their service. I want to just start things off by getting a motion to approve the agenda. And please note that items 8, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 were all e-voted. Again, we do this for matters that are pretty much straightforward. It saves time, and the faculty champions don't have to come here and reiterate. So those are done. So with that, if someone could give a motion to approve the adjusted meeting. Okay, Sarah, seconded Howie. Council members in favor? Okay. All right, great. So that's passed. All right, so with that, I'm going to turn things over to the dean for his comments. Paul?
Howie, do you have a comment or you're fine? Okay. All right. Okay, good morning. Great to see everybody here virtually. So quite a few updates that I'd like to share with you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about the school. Well, basically, let me start with a very positive news. On the fundraising front, for those who might remember, we had 5 centennial chairs back in 2022. And they were supposed to be fully funded and endowed by 27. And so, well, they were not up until like December, and we had some kind of interesting changes into the matching and so forth. Anyway, I'm very happy to report that since December, all 5 chairs have been fully endowed. We're waiting for the last 2 to be fully signed, but we have firm commitments, 3 signed and 2 firm commitments that we're hoping to finalize in the next few days. So very happy that we have 5 fully endowed new chairs for the school. So that's a great news. So basically, we'll be able to keep those chairs forever. In that spirit, we're also trying to get 2 additional chairs as well, given the success. We're working with development to expand, especially for those who were asked to consider these chairs, and of course we didn't get those 5 existing ones, so we try to get 2 additional ones, and we're hoping by the end of spring to finally get 2 additional chairs. So I mean, 5 chairs in 3 months, and hopefully 7 in the next hopefully few months. That will be a great success, and almost doubling the number of chairs, like fully endowed chairs we have in the school at the 3 million plus level. On the total fundraising, we're now standing almost at $16 million fundraising. If you recall, last year we had a record year of 15 million. So by the end of fiscal year, which is end of May, we're hoping, or at least our plan, to get to at least $20 million. That will be another record year. So glad that we see this kind of excitement among our donors, and especially besides scholarships, to get these faculty chairs, which I realize they're very important in terms of attracting and retaining great faculty. Those will be very important to the success of the school. I guess other than Terry will probably talk about our faculty hiring. We just completed 8 out of the 10, so we have 2 more, hopefully, to finalize before the end of this academic year, hopefully sooner than later, but that is going very well. I'll let Terry give more details on that front, but that's a positive on that front. Before I get into the budget, our new brand campaign, I guess you can see behind me and behind Terry from what I see, the way business school should be, is moving really well. Actually, Brickell magazine had a special coverage of that, a great story. Please feel free to take a look at it. And I think the three pillars that we have as part of our strategic plan and the emphasis on personalizing education across the board, the very strong emphasis on lifelong career success, or what we call career propulsion, and the very strong connection to Miami and the local industries has been really well received. So in that sense, it's something that I would encourage all the faculty to promote, understand these pillars, and of course to what you can do. Try to personalize how we treat our students, how to help them achieve career success, and I guess also connect with the local industries. I mean, I guess this morning towards the afternoon, we have many companies from the hospitality, entertainment industry. So that's one of the industries we try to make stronger inroads with Royal Caribbean, with Norwegian Cruise Lines, Hard Rock Hotel and Cafe. So it's one of those areas that we need to do even more, given that it's the biggest employer in the city. So more on that front. Last night we had a great event with what we call the Go-Getters event. We have 5 amazing of our students and recent alumni who are recognized across 5 different degrees: full-time MBA, professional, DBA, undergrad, business technology. And so amazing individuals. It was a great event connecting alumni and students. One thing I realized was my first event. I wish we had more faculty there. So that's something we need to do for next year, that we invite and we have, hopefully more faculty representation in those events. So that was one of those kind of connections to alumni and industry. Talking about Brickell Magazine, things are moving along with the Brickell, we like to call it kind of liberally campus. So we're down to like 2 locations. We get the final absolute clearance that we choose whichever location we have. So we're negotiating with the 2 last venues that we identified. The one is in Brickell City Tower, very close to the Brickell City Center, the mall, and we're finalizing kind of what we can do in terms of space and cost. And the other one is at 1111 Brickell. That's another building we're negotiating as well, and we'll try to see which one will serve our needs better. So as soon as we have some more kind of resolution, we'll let you know, so at least you're aware of that. And our plans, obviously, were delayed almost a year, so we're still hoping to start in 27, hopefully by January, but the very least will be in the fall of 27. So good news on that front as well. All right, so I just sent to you this morning the business cases. So the 5 ones we had discussed with the faculty, the meeting and so forth, those have been submitted. We discussed them twice with the provost. I mean, there is not much we can do at this point. Is waiting for the university to, approve the amounts and so forth. I mean, we talk about, of course, the biggest is the faculty, about like 5 million. Support for our career services, about $500,000. PhD program, about 600,000. Support executive education, about $500,000. And the rest will be like different ways to enhance our infrastructure, staff, resources, and so forth. So about 8.6 million in ask. So we're hoping that that is supported as well. On the building front, I also sent you the latest proposal, which is not very dissimilar to what we had submitted last year. We of course updated. I got more, more feedback from everybody. So the latest is that we had a meeting with facilities development and the provost actually earlier this week on Monday morning. It seemed to be that, not amazing news in terms of infrastructure expansion across the university, but we are the only ones to be considered seriously for a major infrastructure and new building. So that was a good news. Interesting when examples they had given, both Jessica Bromley with facilities and also Josh Friedman with development. I mean, they even showed some of the renderings of our building as a basis. Josh showed last year's list of donors who will be asked to support the building. So basically, everything coalesced around our building, and then even the provost has to talk to me later on to ask for kind of a draft in his meeting with the president. and he made it abundantly clear that that's his number one priority, and basically we're the only ones, at least for a major infrastructure investment. So hopefully things will go well. I sent to you, hopefully you received it earlier this morning, the latest version. If you have any comments, suggestions, how we can further enhance our case, please feel free to send to Roger or me. I mean, he's been leading this effort with feedback from the chairs, from leadership team, and so forth. So in that sense, we're very much open to any additional rationale that you might be able to provide. And I'll keep you posted. They promised by sometime in April to give us, hopefully the green light. Some other things we hosted earlier this week, a set of deans from this coalition of private business schools. Was a great event. Thanks to many of you who attended either the reception or some of the sessions. No surprise, we talked about kind of the impact of AI in our curricula, in our research, in our programs, in our processes, executive education. So that was a very well done session, and happy to kind of report that we're way ahead of in terms of using AI, leveraging AI across the board compared to all these other schools that we hosted. So it was a very nice kind of event as well. With that, the only other thing that I'd like to mention is kind of more of an operational aspect. Is actually with the transition to Canvas. There is a pretty kind of complex process to get approval for our instructional designers, Lily Steiner and Sasha, to help with our faculty. So 2 departments have asked for kind of permission to allow all of their faculty to get support. I think also central IT requires school council approval. So I'm really surprised personally why we have to go through that. I mean, we have people who are willing to help with the transition, and faculty should be able to, if they need help, to do that. I don't believe we're going to get tremendous help from central IT or the university. So we have dedicated people who can help. So in that sense, there are 2 departments who requested full access, but the school council needs to approve it as well. Happy to discuss more, and I don't know if anybody else has more input on that, but that was one of those kind of operational things that I would like to bring to your attention. All right, with that, just to say that things are moving along. We're in budget season, so I'm hoping to report some positive news from the university support, especially with the building. That's going to be a big push for us. We have some major events coming out with the Dean's Advisory Council, the board, and many of those people will be asked to support the building and the major infrastructure push that we like to do. So it will be some interesting developments, hopefully before the end of the semester. So with that, I'll stop. Thank you very much, everybody, for supporting the school. And let me end on an embargoed one. We're going to have some really good news on our full-time MBA. The US news is coming in early April. I cannot tell the number, but if you recall, last year we're at 50, and in the spirit of double-digit growth, that's what we're expecting as well in an embargoed please don't share mode. So I'll let you know, hopefully, officially during our next school council meeting. Thank you very much, and happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay. Questions for Paul? Emmanuel?
Yeah, hi, sorry. I just wanted to just raise a quick issue. It's solved now, but I know you know about this. So I think, is there anything we can do in the future to quicken the time it took to get the offers out to the candidates this year? Because that was everything worked out. We got their offer out yesterday. He signed it immediately. But honestly, accounting was getting a little ticked off, and it was taking a lot of time. And I think econ were waiting for a bit too. So I understand things take time, and this is not even the business school. This is central. But is there anything we can do so next year we can get these things out? Because when you're competing for candidates and you're against the top schools, they come out quick and fast.
Actually, honestly, Emmanuel, we're actually pretty lucky on that. By the way, we should all thank Terry, because she was doing the core of the work, dealing with the provost proposed in different ways. It's not, it took 4 weeks to get the offer out in accounting. That was a pretty straightforward case. I don't know, Terry, any comments on that? I mean, I hope that it's improved next year, because we're actually very lucky this year because the market is terrible for candidates. They're willing to wait. Honestly, we did exceptionally well. I mean, Terry can talk about that, but that process in a regular year would have been devastating. I mean, I don't think many candidates would have waited 4 weeks to get an offer. They would have gone somewhere else if the market was better and they had more options. So, I mean, that's something that, we try to our
I
best.
just wanted to flag it. Just so we
No,
can
it's,
see.
believe me, we spend a lot of time dealing with that. Terry, please, so I don't say anything inappropriate here, please go ahead.
No, it's been really frustrating. And accounting, I have no idea why that took so long. I assure you, we were in constant contact, with the Office of Faculty Affairs and the Provost's office. The president signs each one of these offers, and what we learned is, for the most part, he only signs them on Fridays. So every Friday morning, I was in contact. Are we going to get our offer today? Okay, and finally, accounting, they signed it on a Wednesday. Okay, because I think we kept pointing out this has been a really long time on this particular one. They're doing their own review. They're doing their own salary analysis, even though the departments do a good salary analysis, and they'll come back and say, oh, well, this person's at the 90th percentile, but we're trying to hire the best of the best. And so of course they are. These are, people, I'll go over it in a minute, but yeah, they're doing their own review. They're also doing the review of what their teaching loads and the teaching loads in the department. So when this is all done, I hope to sit down with Jonelle and go over this process and discuss how they can be more efficient.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Any other questions?
Sarah, please go
Thank
ahead.
you very
Yeah.
much.
Paul, I just want to ask you, I just don't understand what we're supposed to vote on for Canvas. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Let me find the exact language, and it doesn't make sense to me, so I have to.
You know what I mean?
Okay. That's the language that I received. As per the university's IT, not us, I'm asked to inform that the two approvals from accounting and business law chairs to have our instructional designers, Lily Steiner and Shara Gonzalez, access courses to help faculty with their migration from Blackboard to Canvas. The assistants Lily and Shara would provide only includes assisting with the Canvas template, address broken links, organize files, and assist faculty with transitioning their videos. This effort helps our faculty proactively to be ready for the fall semester, as I believe Central IT might not be able to offer full support to the faculty. So basically, it's a university IT to open up allowing a staff member, basically our own staff, Lily Steiner and Shara Gonzalez, to help the faculty with the transition. And it seems to be a case that somehow the staff will get access to your materials. I don't know what they will be doing with that, but that's what the Central IT is overly cautious. So two departments, accounting and business law, requested, and I guess the faculty asked for all the faculty to get access to our instructional designers. Some departments, for example, like I heard that healthcare management and policy, they said not all the faculty wanted that. So basically, faculty will be going directly to Lily and Shara to do that. So this is something that it's essentially Central IT wanted the school council, wanted the dean's approval, which I said I'm absolutely fine if the faculty need help. Obviously, our instructional designers should provide help. So I provided my support, no issue there. And basically, they also wanted the school council to vote on that. Anyway, I find the whole thing a little bit kind of peculiar, why we need to have all this level of approvals for a staff member whose job is to help. The instructional designer, that's their main job. And I don't see any issue that the staff will steal anybody's intellectual property or materials or anything like that. So that's why it's a little bit peculiar to me, unless I'm missing something, but I'm just bringing this to your attention.
Okay. So but are we going to be voting for, I would think every department should be, every faculty member in the business school should be able to go to the instructional designers. We're not voting for those two departments that made the request. Am I correct?
Sorry, if I may here.
Right.
So I was going to ask about this as well. My suggestion is when we talk in executive session to vote on this, we could certainly indicate that we're giving approval. One option is to indicate that we're giving approval for these departments. And just so you know, we're giving approval for other departments or other faculty and the like. So we can handle that.
Under what authority do we have? Under what authority, John, do we have to give approval for this? Though it just seems like, what bylaw are they even looking at that we should? Are we going to be ad hoc asked to approve things? I mean, it just seems odd.
Well, yeah. So just as a one question is, I know how IT and advising we've considered them employees of the business school, but they're actually they're been centralized. Is Lily's role centralized, or no? So she's clearly at the business school.
Yes, yes. Lily is actually in the business school. So these are instructional designers. They are not with IT. Unlike advising, which is technically they're centralized. You're right, John. So Lily and Sasha are our own employees, and with Roger, technically Lily reports to me directly. Doesn't report centrally.
Would there be any issue if we had approval from each faculty member of this department? It just seems odd to involve school council in this.
Well, basically, Alisa, the question is that they said we want the dean's approval and the school council approval to even allow any faculty to kind of open up the access to the staff members. And so I gave my approval. I didn't think that's an issue. And of course, the idea is that if the faculty request help, either as a department or individually, then they have my consent to get help from our instructional designers. I found it very, why do you even ask for it? It's fine, I did that. So they said we also want the school council to approve it, so I'm bringing it to your attention as well. I don't know if it should be my job to do that, but since we have this conversation, I'm bringing this to your attention. So.
Yeah, the one other thing that I don't know if it's involved or not is FERPA. Typically, anybody who gets access to web pages can technically see grade information. So I don't know if this is something they're worried about. I don't think we should spend a lot of time looking for the logic in this, but I think one of the things we can do is after this meeting, Blanca and I can get in touch with whoever it is and just ask for a little bit of clarification as to what they want from us. And Alyssa, to your point, if this is not something we do, then I don't think we should, give approval. So, we could we could decide that we don't have any issue with faculty working with staff that are designed to help them for this exact purpose. You mentioned you wanted approval from the council. Are we missing something? Something to that effect, and find out what they need. We don't want to delay things, but we also don't want to just haphazardly start voting on issues.
Right. I obviously fully support it since one of the departments is my department. I'm just a little bit concerned about, particularly if the issue is FERPA, then we don't really have the authority to consent.
Right. No, I don't believe. Just to reiterate what we're talking about here is like assisting with the Canvas template, address broken links, organize file, and assist faculty with transitioning their videos. And basically, this is now like essentially transition to Canvas. And basically, the faculty, my understanding is that they will, revoke the kind of. There will not be a student in the class or having access as an instructor, so they can see grades in the end of fall. So basically, they will be helping now, and then it's kind of like whatever is their role in the system, and then they will be removed from the system. So basically, I don't think they will have any access to, grades or any student even student information, because the students, will not even be registered for the class at this time. So definitely not grades, because grades are done when the semester starts and, towards the end. So that is more like helping you in advance. So this is what University IT has asked. So as I said, I gave my approval, so I don't have any issue with that. Whoever wants to get help as a department, as faculty, should be able to get access to that. And so I don't know exactly how it will work, Alisa, to be honest with you, but that's kind of what we were asked. So I don't want to prolong this and create more unnecessary delays, especially in your department. Like the faculty, you need help, and you should be able to get help and not, prevent the university IT to not give access to our instructional designers
just send an email. I'll call them to see if we can, get this moving as quickly as possible.
I asked the
John,
dean
yeah,
through the chat for the contact information, so I'll share once you
Okay.
say it.
George?
John, can I add something? I've already started doing this, and really on Canvas, there's nothing to be approved because the courses are in this so-called sandbox area, which means no student is in there. There's no student information. And also for Blackboard, when you give them access as outsiders, there's an option that says instructional designer with no access to the gradebook. So I don't understand what is to be approved here because everything is being structured. So the instructional designer sees nothing confidential from the student side. So I'm also kind of baffled a little bit with Alisa. What are we approving here?
What I'll do is like I said, I will contact this person. If they make a case that we may need council approval, we'll draft an email for an e-vote or consideration or whatever we need. So I think, again, maybe that's how we should leave this for now.
Just to add to this point, John, as you were saying that when you approve for those two departments, please also include language for approval for other. Because I had said to Nidhi that my department does not oppose, but somehow it's not part of the group. So please allow us also to.
Sure. Thank you.
Or even on faculty level, even that each faculty in the business school.
We'll get to the bottom of this, and we want to make sure if action is required by us, we'll make it as broad as possible so this doesn't delay anything. Okay. Any other questions for the dean? Okay, so then at this point, I'd like to turn things over to Linda for updates from the Faculty Senate.
Good morning, everyone. The Faculty Senate is basically, closing out the academic year. There's only one more business meeting left. So I think there'll be a flurry of proposals coming our way because of that. So I have a couple of items. One of the items that was just passed is a media policy, social media policy. So something to be aware of there. It's extremely important that you put into your syllabi what you want photographed and what you don't want photographed, what you want videotaped, what you don't want videotaped, to cover yourself. Because otherwise, if there are violations of student rights or anyone else's rights, there are consequences that could take place later. Faculty members could actually be brought up for charges on the Professional Conduct Committee. So it's very important that you're aware of this social media policy, that you state if you're on any social media platform at all, and you state your own opinions, that you indicate that they are your opinions and do not represent the University of Miami. So they're really towing the line on this because there have been a number of abuses over the last year. The other major issue that came up at the Senate was, in the past, was a movement to basically place senior lecturers and distinguished lecturers into the university faculty category. That's where the regular faculty and the educator faculty currently are. Right now, lecturers are called associated faculty. They are on one-year term contracts. They don't have any voting rights. So what's being proposed and what the regular faculty will vote on this summer is to move senior lecturers and distinguished lecturers into the university faculty category, which opens up a number of, kind of bylaw issues for every school. You're going to have to think about what issues you want them to vote on if that legislation passes. So that's coming down the pike. Just want to comment on a couple of issues that were just discussed. One is the issue that has to do with the signing of offers. This was something that was discussed with the provost. He claims he's working on trying to shorten the amount of time for the offers. He's hoping that it will be reduced down to a week. That hasn't happened yet, but that's the goal. One of the issues that we're having is that in the past, we have never had the president of the university sign off on offers. So now it's the provost and the president, which has completely extended the process and led to a lot of frustration. And basically, as I think Paul said or Terry said, this year we're in a relatively good market position for us in terms of hiring. But if we get into a market position where that's not the case, this is going to hurt us tremendously. We're going to lose people. So he plans on reducing it to a week. We'll see if he's able to do that. Just the second issue that I want to weigh in on is what Alyssa talked about in terms of the IT approvals. We do not want our department to have a blanket approval with IT or certainly with Lily's group stating that they can go in and do anything to faculty course sites. This has to be done on an individual faculty basis. Individual faculty members, if they reach out, obviously should be given the help that they need. But certainly from our perspective in management, and it's a fairly large department, we don't want blanket approvals for any IT group.
Mm-hmm.
The other last thing I'll mention is if you're interested, the Senate has their awards ceremony on March 23rd. Probably the person that some of you might know who's receiving the Macklemore Award this year is Daniel Pals. He's been here since, 1980. Has been in a lot of interim positions, interim dean, interim chair, interim director, and is getting an award for all of the service that he has dedicated to the university. And that's it, unless there are any questions.
Thank you, Linda. I just wanted to add one thing. So Linda mentioned this issue about the lecturers and that change. That was approved by the Senate, and that's sort of to go forward for the regular faculty to vote on. So sometime in May, this will come out. Now, if it passes by the regular faculty, then there's going to have to be some consideration and potential changes to our bylaws to sort of incorporate the change, and then also to make some decisions, as Linda was saying, about what what lecturers can or cannot vote on. So that's just one issue that we've got to potentially address.
That's correct.
Sarah?
Yes, Linda, thanks a lot. Are there any cons to this lecturer or senior lecturer being promoted to this part?
I think, I'm not sure. I think that's something that you need to discuss. One of the issues is that what's the difference now between being a senior lecturer and an assistant professor of practice or associate professor of practice or tenure track? I mean, if the voting rights are going to be the same, why bother? Why bother going for tenure? So I think those are some of the concerns that might be raised. I think schools need to very carefully think about what roles we want our lecturers to have. Some of our lecturers are not terminally qualified. Do you want them to be weighing in on major curriculum decisions? I don't know. That's a question for the faculty. It's a question actually the council is going to have to deal with, because one of the first places if this legislation passes, it's going to fall on your lap to come up with bylaws to decide what the voting rights will be. And those are really important considerations.
Linda, just to confirm, this is for senior lecturers and distinguished lecturers, not regular lecturers.
Correct. That's correct.
And you mentioned their contract. Would it change them from going through a 1-year contract, or?
Well, they're suggesting that senior lecturers and distinguished lecturers get longer term contracts, 3-year contracts. Some lecturers already get that, so it's not really an issue. But in some schools, it's just 1-year renewables.
So I just want to add a comment, because I was at the Senate meeting, and what's interesting is I don't think the proposal, look, they did a lot of work to kind of look at this, and everywhere in the faculty manual it said university faculty. They had some options, but I think the implications of this can be very broad, and it is going to take some discussion, and hopefully we'll have some discussions about this before the vote that comes up. I can tell you at the faculty Senate meeting, I objected to having it just be a consent no one, we're just going to move forward. I said, no, we should have it as a vote. And I abstained. I was the only person that abstained because I don't think we really thought out all of the implications of this. Two other quick things. One is we recently created the position of distinguished lecturer so that the lecturers that have been here a longer time and certainly have done wonderful work in the teaching can get some distinction and that. And it's also worth noting that the previous administration, something like this passed and they refused to sign it. So Julio Frank and the previous provost may have felt there were some concerns about, what sort of terminal qualification for you to be considered a university faculty, these things going on. So it's a deep issue. Let's have some informal conversations and we can get some more information because it's really going to be a complicated issue that have to be voted on sometime probably in May.
Yeah, the other thing is a lecturer can request promotion to senior lecturer after 5 years. So they've actually identified sort of the promotion path.
Howie?
I know you all seem to be concerned about the amount of time it takes to get the approval to hire new faculty. Well, the solution to solve that problem is to flowchart the entire process, find out where the pain points are, and then, if we have to, go through the ombudsperson to the board of trustees, okay, to, say, you gotta fix it. It's screwing up the business schools and probably everybody's. But it's flow charting and finding out where the pain points are. You can't make a cogent argument without that.
I can give you the whole process when I was vice provost for faculty affairs and first administration. I would come to the Office of Faculty Affairs and then come to me as vice provost, and I would sign off with them. That was the end point. But it was very efficient and very quick.
Yeah, so Terry, you might be in a position to, request this of the provost or whoever, especially if they changed it, adding the president's signature and what have you. So, thanks, Howie. Indranil?
Yeah, I just wanted to point out one, to the whole lecture discussion. Another thing that is going on, and the dean and Terry know about it, is that they're asking all the chairs to look at the composition of faculty in different departments. So I was just connecting the dots between these two things. That if and they are essentially saying you should have more lecturers at the very high end of the administration. And so if they want more lecturers and the lecturers get voting rights, I don't want to continue from that.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So that's great. Good to have some good discussions about all of this. I'm just trying to get back to, I think the only associate dean that mentioned that they needed to make a report was Terry, so I'll turn things over to Terry.
Okay, thanks. So I'll start with hiring since that's already come up. To be like a little more specific about this, we are hiring at the 90th percentile. So I find this argument that you're paying people too much. All of these people had other offers that we were dealing with. Okay, we hired economics, hired from Yale, finance Stanford, finance Columbia, finance UCLA, HMP got individual had a very generous offer from Cornell, but we prevailed. University of California, Berkeley, MAS hired from Emory, marketing hired from the University of Minnesota, and this changes daily. I mean, just a couple days ago, we got accounting, got a person from the University of Chicago. I hear you, this person had already turned down another job and was waiting, I know, and I'm confident that we'll continue to prevail, okay? And then it looks like management will be hiring someone who's a postdoc at Stanford. Again, he's verbally committed. His offer is now at the provost office. So, I mean, it was just an outstanding year. I mean, thanks to all the chairs and all the faculty. Business law is also interviewing. So we expect to probably see an offer there. So we are now at 9, and it looks like we will have 10. If you recall from the moonshot plan that you all worked on and approved, it was very ambitious to hire 10 new faculty a year. And at the time, I just thought, we'll never be able to do that, but we're doing it. And so by 2029, the goal is to have our regular faculty at 150. By 2029, 40 endowed chairs is the goal. I'm just reminding the dean of these very ambitious goals. And the other issue is educator faculty. Yes, it is in our Great Schools framework. We have requested increases in educator faculty and non-tenure track faculty. This week, we're asking the chairs to examine the mix in their department of tenure track educator, non-tenure track faculty to best meet the staffing needs as we continue to grow in our enrollments. So that's faculty hiring. It's all good news. In terms of, I heard the discussion about the Canvas transition. Lily and her group have developed an AI agent called SEBES, S-E-B-E-S, which is short for Sebastian. They're building it, they're testing it, but there will be an agent that will help faculty for Canvas. I think she already sent out the email. It's also on your Canvas landing page that they'll be offering. The Canvas people are coming. They'll be offering workshops on March 23rd and April 24th. There are also virtual options, and a few of those are going to be in the business school. So sign up for one of the workshops, or encourage other faculty to do that. We are moving into the merit review process. We're starting meeting with the department chairs next week. They've been a little bit vague about the merit pool this year, but they're telling us to follow the provost guidelines that were in the email that was sent to all the faculty. That's what I have. Any questions?
Very quickly, Terry, yes, we're working very hard on the chairs, and as part of the proposal is to get at least 10 faculty for next year. We have some budget already for some faculty, but the proposal for that $5-point-something million is to get at least 10 tenure track faculty, several educator faculty, and lecturers as well. So basically, that's the plan. It's definitely not easy, but hopefully we'll continue as such and get to that level. So glad that we're close to 10 right now, and we'll push very hard to get all 10 this year, and keep pushing for hopefully 10 per year, and hopefully no attrition besides retirements in the foreseeable future. That's kind of our explicit plan.
Any other questions for Terry? Okay, thanks a lot, Terry. Appreciate it. All right, so at this point, we can move to our curriculum matters. Item number 8, the course prerequisite modifications in economics. Alex, are you going to speak about this, or?
You're muted, Alex.
Item number 8.
Yeah, we have Chad here for presenting the behavioral economics course, and I'll present the other two.
All right, so who is going to present on item number 8?
8 was voted.
Oh, so 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, my apologies.
No. 8 was voted. We need to work with 9, 10, 11, and 12.
Oh, sorry. My highlighting system confused me. My apologies. Okay, so number 9, yeah, the behavioral economics. Chad, you're going to speak on this? Thank you.
Apparently. I thought just to fill in, I didn't realize my course was on the agenda. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll just quickly say, so this is a course I started last year. It's basically, it was a special topics course, but it's basically an introduction to behavioral economics. So it's like a survey course. I go through all kinds of the different ways that people kind of don't behave according to standard economic theory. Last year was pretty much full, and teaching evaluations were good. The students were excited about it. I let them do presentations. They get to present some behavioral things. And this year it's full again. So it seems pretty popular. I don't know what else I can add.
That's good. Thank you, Chad. You're mute, Chad.
Oh, do you want me to say something else?
Any questions for Chad about this course? Okay, Chad, thank you very much. We vote on this in executive session and we'll notify you. So thanks for that. All right, so we can move to item number 10, another new course proposal in economics, the economics of technology and AI. Yeah. And Alex, did you say you're going to speak on this? Thank you.
Yes, I'm going to speak. 10 and 11 are related because one is the STEM version of the course and the other is the more general version. So these are new courses that are designed in this new idea of having more AI-related courses, and in particular of the importance of AI in technological growth and labor markets that is affecting and going to affect economics. These courses are going to be part of the economics curricula, but also we have a STEM and a non-STEM version. The STEM version requires a required economics course, and maybe not all students at the business school will have, because it's just a course for economic majors. So the non-STEM version will be open to everybody at the business school and will be part of it's already approved by the BT department to be part of the new AI in business minor and major in the electives.
Okay, questions for Alex on this course? Okay, and so was that really 10 and 11?
10 and 11, yeah.
Okay, so any questions on either item? Malika? You're on mute.
Can you identify which is the STEM and which is the regular one?
Yeah, the STEM, it's down here. Let me see in the proposal. The STEM is the 395.
Okay, perfect.
And Alex, there's going to be some distinction in the ability to register, because if they have the same name, that could be an issue.
No, they have different names and slightly different
numbers.
Content too. Like the non-STEM has a lot more about the history of growth and the impact of technology through history on economic growth. So they are slightly different courses.
Okay. Sarah?
Yes. Alex, when a student, he needs to take the STEM, if he's an economics major, what is the requirements? Who needs to take the STEM course, or it's just a choice for the students?
No, well, it is STEM because it requires
I know the requirement.
Requires Math 161, so it's
okay, but the student, is there certain students in certain majors that need to take the STEM, or if I'm a student, I can take either one. It doesn't matter.
If you are in the quant econ track. Okay,
that's what I was.
It's still an elective, so it's not a mandatory course for the major. But if you are in the quantitative track, you might want to.
You may have, but you have a choice.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions for Alex? Okay. Thank you very much. The next item is number 12, the new interdisciplinary BBA, BSBA option.
Yes, that's me too. So this is a new pathway for students that we created for several reasons. The main reason, let me be briefly about it. The university is going to start applying to the DOT the federal financial aid laws. And the federal financial aid laws pay only for the minimum requirements to degree. Our minimum requirements to degree at the business school is one major or 120 credits. 1/3 of our students have more than one major and more than 120 credits. On average, 136 credits students that takes more than one major. So essentially, applying to the DOT this new laws will make students who have financial aid not being able to pursue this very popular option and I would say even required option for many jobs at the job market. So we created this new pathway. It does not change any content on any major, so it does not change the let's say the background. It changes the user interface. It will allow students who have financial aid and wants to pursue two majors to still be covered. We talk with financial aid. Financial aid is forward-looking, so you'll be able to change for, if you are in the one major, 120 credits to this dual major. This is an important aspect. So basically avoiding having two classes of students within the business school, those who can pay and those who cannot. The other important aspect, it has an embedded career dimension, which is to choose the second major. Of course, students are free to choose it, but there is a mandatory meeting with a career advisor. So we want students who wants to combine majors to understand the impact on their possible job applications, so they can maximize or make an informed decision when they choose to pursue that second major. And it also basically make transparent an already choice of 1/3 of our population, of 1,200 students, which is they do more than one major. So we created this structured pathway that already takes into account that it makes them easier to create the planner. And one more important thing is the university is also going to limit the number of transfer credits, AP credits, that students can bring to 26, but by also limiting to students who take 26 things that credits usually will get more than 120 credits at the end of their career. So students will have to, who have financial aid, will have to decide in advance which credits to bring. And that is a little bit unfair in the sense that first, students don't know exactly what their path is, what credits are going to work or not. And second, bringing credits, earned credits that they make an effort to get, allows them certain privilege like earlier registration and stuff. So we are going to penalize students with financial aid by asking them to not bring so many credits. So this pathway will also allow those students to bring the well-earned credits that they have. But again, it doesn't change the content of any major. It just creates a new pathway for students to be able to pick up two majors and that be financially compliant.
Questions for Alex on this? Okay. All right. Thank you, Alex. All right. I guess we are ready to move to item number 18, which is the renaming of the hybrid MBA to the Flex, but it also involves two formal tracks within the Flex MBA. Ola's here, so I'll let Ola speak to this.
Yeah, hi there, everyone. Thank you for having me. This is just a renaming. The current program is actually called the Professional MBA, and at some point we renamed it to Hybrid. But the idea with Flex is just that we discovered, and not least myself, through all the interviews with all candidates for the PMBA, that one thing they really appreciate is the flexibility we offer in the program, the way that it's sequenced, and in terms of a combination of immersion and online sessions, which really fits the professional community in a sense. And so with in conversation with Tom and Indranil and others, and with the support of Paul, we just think that Flex MBA is a good way to phrase it. And So that's why we're suggesting this. On top of that, because you, as a professional MBA, you're not having a job at the same time you're taking your MBA, usually you have lots of contingencies in terms of job, family, and other commitments, and doing this at the same time. So it really means that we want to have we want to have flexibility in terms of the duration by which you pursue this. And that's why we're suggesting this with a regular track and a professional track, where regular track is really doing the program as fast as possible, while a professional track is, more at the part-time. At the end of the day, marketing really thinks this would help the program a lot in terms of recruiting. I guess that's.
Okay. Questions for Ola?
Just a comment. I like the name. It basically, with something like hybrid, you basically doesn't seem to be flexible, and I like that idea.
Yeah, I think the hybrid is, that's a modality. So
Yeah.
It doesn't suggest flexibility.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like the name change as well. Ola, I wanted to ask you. I don't know if I have my documentation is off, but did what you sent to the council include or detail what was the difference in the new tracks and the existing track? Because I'm just having trouble finding that. It may be a problem on my side.
I'm not sure about the documentation, but currently what we have in the books is really the regular track as is. It's it is a 15-month program, but our experience is basically that most students struggle to make it in 15 months because it's a very fast-paced, given the fact you have a full-time job at the same time. I'm sorry, what was the question exactly?
So I'm just trying to understand. I didn't find the documentation, and again, it could be a mistake on my part. But what are the additional courses in the professional track?
Oh, okay, I get it. There are no additional courses. I mean, it's exactly the same, curriculum. It's just that it's a different in pacing.
Yeah, Patty Murphy requires all these tracks to be spelled out, but when it's the same courses, they slow it down. So to actually provide that Flex MBA structure, we have to tell the students, hey, you can complete it in longer time frames than Patty requires.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm very glad to hear that, because typically, sometimes the word track is used in some proposals to indicate different courses and sequencing. Yeah. So if I understand you correctly, we have this, I'll call it flex.
Yeah.
And it typically, or it can take 15 months, but we're going to give an option that it could take 24 months for professionals that just need to make it more flex. So
yeah, it's to make it more flex, and also on top of that, in practice we know that this variation exists anyway. It's just a way to make students upfront commit to one or another, and to make the planning easier.
Okay, and just to be clear, there's no difference in the courses.
No.
The MBA tracks are a big 100%. Thing. No need to apologize. The word is used appropriately in different contexts. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure I understood it in this context.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Other questions for Ola? Yeah, and thank you for your work on this, working this out.
Of course.
Okay. All right. So we have one more item, and this is for the Academic Standards Committee at the Business School. We have a nomination of Roman to be on this committee. And just as a notification, if anybody has a comment about that, this will be voted on in exec session. So are there any comments on that nomination?
I just wanted to provide some background to this, essentially that the committee had lost its permanent member as Ricardo Rodriguez, and essentially they what they do is every semester, every term, they meet and look at the cases that some faculty have filed. And we didn't have anybody there. And I had asked the department chairs also, and then Roman contacted me, so I said, that's great.
Yeah. So we're welcome to have someone willing to serve. So,
yes.
Okay. All right. Are there any other matters from the floor?
If I may quickly take the opportunity, something Linda wanted to know, and essentially I think the school council would love to know also. I have obtained the data for admissions and marketing from Tom and Liz. I want to quickly share that with you, if I may have the permission to share my screen. Just 1 second, actually. So as you can imagine, can you see my screen?
Yes.
So as you can imagine that, these are all the programs. I've sorted them in the order of the number of students they had last year to this year. As the dean points out, essentially there was 40% increase in the number of students last year. This year there has been 3 challenges that Tom and Liz have been facing. One is that the university imposed this transition to Slate as a software, which delayed a lot of the work. Then I-20 has been delayed, and the third thing is the scholarships, etc., are in a flux. Essentially, a lot of these loans, etc., are coming down. So there is a general concern about the number of students. I want to, upfront tell all the news as they come, and so does the whole team. So essentially, as you can see, these are the numbers. But of course, it's hard to understand and process. So I'm also going to discuss this quickly with you. As you can see, the full-time MBA program, when I say full-time, essentially it's 4 programs: full-time MBA, real estate MBA, part-time real estate MBA, MD MBA, and JD MBA. These are ultimately going to be in our rankings. And there in this group, we are doing okay, but the number is about 50 students. The part-time MBA program includes online, Gemba, and PMBA. And as you can see, Gemba last year had a great success for some reason. Essentially, one student recruited 12 other students last year. And that extreme success is not there this year. And so that 10 students, essentially that one student's introduction, which led to 10 additional, did not happen. So Gemba essentially explains this. Now PMBA is starting to grow. This year actually it does not include yet this whole pack thing that Ronnie has done with the help of the dean. And so essentially this number that we are showing you is smaller than that. Even there are a bunch of deferrals which have not been counted here. That's why Tom is a bit hesitant in showing the numbers. But I think that we can look at it as a minimum bar for now. The biggest drop, as you can see, is really driven by the MS programs, MSX programs. And there the accounting program was one of the top ones. But I talked to Miguel even yesterday in the department chairs meeting, and he actually 2 days ago, and he pointed out that this number is improving. Tom confirms. MIB, which is the international one, and MSSB, which has been seeing a secular decline, are 2 things that we should look at. We are working hard on leadership. We are having a bunch of meetings in the Linda connected us to Greg from HR, so we are doing that. And MSBA also is going through a new advertising campaign, essentially, and Gamba is. So this, if you look at these, this is the total drop of about 50 students is driven essentially by these programs. And I just wanted to update everybody. This does not include, and again, I am a pessimist, so I always put the smallest numbers first. EDBA is not in this set because it is growing, right? Marketing, which is a new program, is not here. MIM, which is Masters in Management, has now passed the graduate school, which is coming. And all the updates the school council did this year in terms of program improvements are not here, essentially. None of those have taken place yet and not have been advertised even. Even the MS marketing program has to be advertised only now because the president recently signed. So we do not have any of the benefits and all the costs of the last 1 year of the university-wide issues and at the national level, the presidential issues. And there are some staff issues as well. But anyway, I think the best thing is to do is to put the numbers in front of everybody.
Just to add, any questions for Indranil?
Just to add to Indranil's point, I mean, obviously there are many headwinds that across the board. So we're talking with, you look at the GMAC, we're talking about 20% drop in graduate enrollment across the board primarily because of international students. And even if we're not as exposed to international students, our fare is about 25%, unlike other schools that go to 60, 70%. It's still a significant part. So, we expect even more drop. So our expectation to be around 20%, lose another few percentage of international students. That adds to those numbers, especially Master in International Business, Master in Business Analytics programs that traditionally have a bigger percentage of international students. The I-20 was an internal university issue because the total cost of attendance was not provided, so that delayed us by a year, primarily for international students. So hopefully we'll make it up. Hopefully we didn't lose too many of those students. The biggest headwind, which we don't know exactly how strong it will be, it's this Grad Plus program. Basically, the ability to take loans, and based on this big, beautiful bill, supposed to kick in this July and have imposed some limits into how much our students can borrow. And you realize we're talking about somewhere in the 100,000 for graduate school, about 20-something thousand per year. So you realize our tuition, it's much, much higher. And so that might create any problems. We don't know exactly how the implementation will play out, what's going to be the impact. We're looking at different ways to provide private loans to students. So, but that's something that worries us, not on these numbers to be exact, but more in the melt, down in the summer. When students realize I got admitted, but I was planning to get X amount of loans and I cannot anymore, or cannot get the same amount I expected, we kind of worry that we may see a big melt in the summer. Anyway, so we're working very hard across the board despite these headwinds, and but as Joanne explained, some programs are doing very well. Hopefully, we'll make up with our new programs, the marketing. Hopefully, the NIM will be offered this fall. The DBA, hopefully, we're going to get another strong intake. So we have quite a lot of kind of programs that hopefully will make up for some of those programs that naturally may not be as good. I'm still pushing for like a growth in our programs. I know it's very aspirational, but if we are at least flat next fall with given, as Joanne said, 40% growth last year, so we have a blockbuster, one of our best years ever. Just to be at par with that one, that would be a very positive thing. And so that's our goal, to be at least flat. So I think we get there and hopefully even be higher. To remind everybody, our spring enrollment was about 30% up as well. So we have already quite a few students, and we're budgeting about, in our budget discussion, about $3.5 million additionally from graduate enrollment, and that will help us with our growth plans, hiring, all different aspects. So the graduate enrollment is very important to us. I know that Alex will not mention that yet, but we're still haven't received in the budget discussions the undergraduate programs. And that's kind of a very weird thing, because 140 million, 150 million almost from our budget is because of undergraduate tuition, so that we haven't received that. Some informal discussion with the provost is that he will kind of allow us to recruit more students, because our yield rate at the admissions is much, much better than any other school. We did phenomenally well in our ED1 and ED2 early action. So we're leading the university by amazing amounts. So now they're saying that we may get more students. We still don't know how it will impact kind of the actual budget and how much of the money we'll get to keep. But at least we hope that our undergraduate population will add as well. So that will allow us more cushion to be able to continue our growth plan as well. But in any case, despite all these issues, I think we're still budgeting for some growth in addition to the business cases. So hopefully we'll be able to still continue our faculty staff growth and continue with our strategic plan. I don't know, Alex, if you're going to just provide any more information. I know you didn't have any formal one, but any things on your end?
Yes, I can provide information or a little bit more context on the admissions. And as you know, this year we moved from test optional to test mandatory, so that has decreased the number of people that have applied to the university. The business school has gone down by 5%. The interesting fact is male applications have slightly increased. All that 5% has come from 10% less female applications. higher than the rest of the school, but we are going to suffer in admissions rate. Last year we were at 16.4%. This year we are projecting around 22% because the university has expected a lower yield, so they give us an upper limit of 720 students to be admitted to the business school. But right now, given our yield, they are expecting 740 students to be accepting the offer. But to put things in perspective, Ivy Leagues, when they admitted, when they moved from optional to mandatory, they went back 4 to 5 years in terms of applications. We went back 2 years in terms of application. So that is good news, but we did receive something, and we will see our admissions rate going up. I think partially because admissions was not expecting that we will yield how we are yielding, and they overshoot, in my opinion, in the number of admitted students. Now, like Paul said, because we are admitting so well, they might even go to the wait list for us for the additional students that they need, which will hurt a little bit further our admissions rate. But I think it's the doing good has sometimes these bad trade-offs, but we are performing better than expected in this situation. And finally, also something that is going to be hit is the profile of the students, because last year the average SAT was around 1400, and that is because only good SATs were submitted. Now the average SAT as of today is around 1350, because the last part of the admission is the higher profile admission expect to go to 1370, but we are going to go down between 30 and 40 points on SAT. We are going to go down on average ACT, and we are also going to go down on average GPA, because previous year we admitted people with high GPAs that did not submit test scores, but now the high GPA, high test scores might not yield very high to us and go somewhere else. So we are also lowering. Last year average GPA was 3.75 at this stage. Right now we are at 3.67. So we are going to be hit in those metrics across the board, from going from test optional to test mandatory. So that's that, but that was expected, and nothing that much we can do at this stage.
Thank you, Alex. Any questions for Alex? Yeah, I guess the drop in SAT scores with people reporting is probably going to be similar across all universities. There's no reason to suspect that we had a higher percentage of people doing this than other places. So let's hope it's not a relative drop-off. It'll certainly be a drop-off for us.
The thing is, if we did the analysis, for the P&Q ranking, and among the 30 universities that are behind us, or around 30 universities that are behind us, 27 are test optional, and among the 20 universities that are ahead us, more than half are still test optionals without plans to becoming test mandatory. So we are going to get hit in absolute and relative terms, because most universities are not moving to test mandatory and staying on test optional.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other matters from the floor? Okay, I want to thank everyone very much for your work and your reports. I wish you all a good weekend, and we're going to move to executive session.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Blanca, can you do the recording, please?
Recording stopped.
Thank you. Okay. All right. So I think we can kind of go in order here. We've got number 9, which is the course on behavioral economics. Is there a motion to approve this course? Seconded. Okay. Further discussion? Okay. All those in favor? Okay, so it's approved. Let's go to item number 10. This is the economics of technology and AI. This is the STEM version. A motion to approve this course? Seconded. Okay. Further discussion? Okay, let's call it to a vote. Those in favor? Okay, it's approved. We'll go to item number 11, which is technology, innovation, and AI in the economy. Motion to approve this course? Seconded. Thanks. Further discussion? Okay, those in favor? Okay, this one is approved. And we'll go to item number 12. This is the interdisciplinary BBA, BSBA option, the 2 majors required that Alex discussed. Motion to approve this? Seconded. Okay. Further discussion on this? Okay, those in favor? Okay, we're good. Great. We're moving along, and we go to item 18, which is there's 2 things combined. Change the name from hybrid MBA to flex MBA, and the introduction of the 2 different tracks to do it, option to have it in 15 months or option to have it in 24 months. If it's okay, we'll take a motion to approve both of these together. Seconded. Okay. Further discussion? I just want to say I was very happy when he said it's not any changes to the courses. Because I was like, because I didn't see that in any of the documentation, and so anyway, sorry for that. Okay, all those in favor? Okay, so that's approved. And the last item we have is the Academic Standards Committee nomination of Roman. Is there, as you know, for these committees, school council committees, we have to elect the people that are on there. That's why this is done this way. So is there a motion to approve the nomination? Seconded. Okay, further discussion? Other than to say thank you. Okay, those in favor? Okay, that's great. If there's any other items to discuss, Emmanuel, I know you brought up the issue about the delayed the letters. Chris also wanted to have that discussed. He couldn't be here today. I thought it was best to ask the dean. I mean, we
I agree.
Complain about it, but we needed to get the information from the dean. And Howie, great suggestion about the flow charting. As soon as you said it, Terry was nodding her head and writing it down. So I think she's going to get that flow chart.
I mean, for us, it looks like they're redoing all the work that we've already done by trying to do the salary. I mean, Miguel has all that information. We went and polled like 12 schools before we did it because we wanted to be competitive, blah, blah, blah. And then he even said, I could just send this along to you, and they didn't want it. No, Central has to do their own. I mean, I feel like they're just doubling up on the work, so hopefully this comes out in the flow chart.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it would make sense. Look, they want oversight. I can respect that. But I think send somebody to the committee that's doing the work here and observe it, have input, whatever. But if they want their own process, they have their own process. The other thing that was odd, that the president is now signing these things. I don't think that's typical. And if he's only doing it on Fridays, so flow charting might, is probably one thing that can identify. I mean, if nothing else, bring it to their attention where their bottlenecks are.
So John and Emmanuel, I think what's happening is the Board of Trustees are very conscious about the total cost of our faculty. So what they basically told the president is to be very deliberate about each thing. So all they have done is really not being deliberate. They just increase the bureaucratic process. It's not changing the inherent issue. But I think that's what they did back to the Board of Trustees, saying, the president is signing up on it.
Yeah, and I mean, they also need to, I think, improve their. Look, if in the end they want to do their own analysis, we're not going to be able to stop that. That's fine.
I'll also say one more thing.
But the reason ours got flagged a bit, which I heard, which I find ridiculous, is because it was due to a retirement, and then we were bringing in a rookie at a much higher salary. But this is a research active rookie from the University of Chicago, and the retirement was an associate professor. I mean, it's just not apples and apples. And I'm like, so why is it so much more? And it's like, this is a completely incorrect benchmark. Yeah, we've given you what schools are paying rookies from top schools. This is what.
And I don't remember. I don't know whether you were there when the provost visited us. He was very critical of how these decisions were made under Willie. So he basically said, "I'm going to go fix it," but he hasn't fixed anything. It's just made it longer. But I do recall that piece of it.
Yeah, two quick things. I was extremely happy to hear Terry explicitly say, of course our numbers are on the high end because we're seeking to get the top people. And that's pretty important. And to some extent, there are a lot of people on the board of trustees that don't have an academic background. Our president does not have an academic background. So this notion of, wait, a senior person just left and you hired a rookie and the salaries are askew.
They just don't understand the market.
The case, but in academic, in